Teachings of the Kingdom of Heaven, Part 1, 5 Phases of the Liberator, Section 5, Rabbi Michael-ben-Pesach, Portnaar. Why Yeshua took the third letter of the name Yitzchak. The last letter of the name Mashiach, the letter Chet, is the third letter of the name Yitzchak. Why didn't he take the first letter just as he had done with the other names? We already learned the first letters of a word or name is modifying and special. But you have to know it is all qualitative. It isn't necessarily the numerical value of the remaining letters of a name have the same gematria as the first letter of that name. Look now, and then while you're reading this at the drawing, we saw the numerical value of the name Yeshua is 386 plus the 4 letters, 390. The total numerical values of the first letters of the other names are 390 also. This is a fact. And in this we see the highest phase has everything in itself, what is present in all other lower phases. In our case, regarding the highest kli in relation to the lower kelim of Moshe till the Mashiach. Why isn't this rule value when we count from below to above? Didn't we learn at elementary school that the turning of numbers doesn't change the outcome when we add up 2 or more numbers? For example, 3 plus 5 is the same as 5 plus 3. So why wasn't build up the name of the Mashiach with all the first letters of the names of Kelim that were above him? In a way, he is the result, the goal of the development of all former phases. Isn't it logical he already has in him the most useful and highest of what was in front of him? Meaning all the first letters of the Kelim that were before him. We saw he took the first letter of Moshe, the first letter of Shimon, and the first letter of Yeshua. So far, it is according the rules. But then he took the name Yitzchak, the third letter. Why didn't he follow the rules? Why didn't he do what we expect to happen? In this there is a very great and deep secret. When I come to the point to reveal deep secrets of the Torah, I feel in myself an inner shyness. With this I mean to reveal it to more than one person. But I found in the book Zohar a pronunciation of the great Shimon Bar Yochai himself. Every time when he had to reveal an important secret of the Torah to his devoted disciples, and know in that time that were the greatest rabbis ever, he started to cry and said, "Ah, me, when I tell it," and "Ah, me, when I don't tell it." When I tell the sinners, they will see this as an opportunity not to work on themselves. They won't correct themselves in the 3 lines. But when I don't tell, all my students will stay ignorant. What is the reason Mashiach took the third letter of Yitzchak instead of the first letter? Be aware there is in the true spiritual a higher divine logic. This logic doesn't have to be the same as the logic we have here on earth, what we tend to name as common sense. Contrary, the divine logic is opposed to our earthly thinking. It is written, "My thoughts aren't your thoughts." This is what ordinary people use to call Jewish maths, meaning calculations, propositions, classifications, etc. One can't see the solution of the problems without knowledge of the spiritual laws with logic or a rational approach. On the contrary, this Jewish math can give us stunning results. It's so different from the approach of he who's religious or he who's doing it mechanical, geometrical, cybernetic, etc. from he who is looking at it from his earthly intellect. They all learn dogmas, and this isn't according to the spiritual laws. You have to know that in the spiritual, something what is qualitative higher can be lower considering the sfirot. Remember this. Don't project your earthly understanding on the spiritual reality. Don't use your scientific, intellectual imagines, because when you do so, you will get lost. What's more, the spiritual will conceal itself from your inner awareness. What will be left is the talking about Kabbalah. This is what is called the philosophy of Kabbalah, or the physics of Kabbalah, or the cybernetic Kabbalah, etc. None of these will or can help you because they are all built up around the earthly or cosmic intellect. Try to understand, and I know it is very hard to understand, but the whole cosmos, till its lowest or last point of material, belongs to our world. There is no imagination that can grasp this. In every imagination there is the grasping of something that what isn't material. For many years I teach my students this simple rule. What the earthly eyes can see has no divine, no eternal or spiritual. Whatever imagines or material object you see, know it is without the spiritual, without the divine. Without going beyond your intellect or without going beyond your understanding, it is difficult to accept. Your intellect can't agree with this. You have to go beyond your intellect, only then you can come to the experience that is as I say it is. To go beyond your understanding is only to be done when you work individual on yourself. You need the instructions of the spiritual laws and implement them in yourself, otherwise it won't work. Don't aspect from me the words relax or resign your fate. I don't give you the opportunity to escape in whatever material imagination you wish to have and to see that as a so-called spiritual. All the time I wrap someone's knuckles till he has liberated himself completely of all the images he had about this earthly existence. In a way, you can compare the learning in the center of the Lurian Kabbalah with the game that is on television, namely the Island Robinson. A number of competitors are on this island, and every time there is a contest, and he who loses the contest has to leave the island. Eventually one survives, and he's the winner. Of course, I hope in our study I will have more than one winner, but it will be a few. It is said, 1,000 students start to learn, only one will come to the light. Yitzchak is the Kli of Yesod. The whole aspect of correction is based on the eventually correction of this Kli Yesod, and uplifting to the Kli Keter. You can compare this with a building. Before an architect starts a drawing, he wants to know how high the building has to be. When he knows the height of the building, he knows a number of floors, and with this information he knows what kind of foundation he needs. Every building needs fundamental information, the foundation and the height. A foundation needs enough capacity for the height. These two activities have to be geared to one another. The same you see in the spiritual. The whole creation is based for 6,000 years on the Sphira of Yesod. In the holy language, Yesod means foundation. We all need a distinguished foundation, bottom, etc. The need of a foundation is the condition for the existing of the creation. It doesn't matter. This temporary foundation is from the second restriction. In Kabbalah, the second restriction is named Tzimtzum Bet. Only when there is the Gemar Tikkun, the final correction, there will be no restrictions. We learned in the Zohar the condition of the Gemar Tikkun is only possible thanks to the foundation. During 6,000 years, we have to make restrictions. Otherwise, there will be no experience of the Gemar Tikkun. What do we mean with restrictions? With foundation, with bottoms. No, this is always the Yesod. To be more precise, the Ateret Yesod. Therefore, it is crucial to study this very thoroughly. In the Holy Zohar is written, and it is Rav Hamenuna Saba who quotes a verse of Ecclesiastes. I won't allow my mouth to bring my flesh to a sin. The Zohar names Yesod Basar Kodesh, the holy flesh, and Brit Kodesh, the holy pact. What does this mean? All over the world you can't find a teaching that refers to this place in the human being named Yesod. The reason for this is because the holiness is only given at Israel, as well in the common as in the particular aspect. Each being has his personal particular aspect of Israel. Note that I say each being. Whatever the background of a being is, each being has this personal particular aspect of Israel. Is there a reason the Zohar names this place of Yesod the holy flesh, or the holy pact? Does this mean that Yesod is the place of the holy connection with the Creator? Look what the Zohar is telling us. Before a person opens his mouth to say something, including the conversation of his heart, meaning with the mouth doesn't speak out, but the intention is there in the heart, he has to be very careful to bring his Yesod not to sin. With this we mean not to receive for himself. Intuitive, we understand what is said. Now throw away all the other thoughts you have in your head. Let go of the inner resistance, because the rescue is here. Several years I have looked for what I am now going to say to you. No person, no rabbi, who did know this. Therefore they couldn't help me. They hadn't the ability to tell me that I could find the answer here in the book of Zohar, and in the books of Ari, and with Yeshua. The question was, how can I purify myself? Only by way of the correction of the Kli Yesod, you can purify yourself and accordingly build up and connect yourself with the Creator. Therefore, have the deepest desire and concentration in what you are going to read. I don't write as a writer, I speak. Listen and try to hear. This is the way to salvation. Only by way of the Kli Yesod, your Kli Yesod, your Ateret Yesod, and Ateret means crown, you can come to the Kli Keter, to the awareness of the kingdom of heaven. This Sphira is the only Sphira who has this wonderful quality to ascend via the middle line to the Kli Keter. There is a principle in the spiritual. There is no disappearing in the spiritual. Due to this, Yesod, whenever he ascends or descends, his basic place will last forever. When a person, God forbid, speaks some evil, he attracts the strength of hell, Gehinnom in Hebrew. One, opposite the other, is created by the Creator. Remember this. Is there another way he could reign his creation? So this as the feedback of the high government, the being. Where is hell? Hell is a condition within a being encouraged by the being himself. How? By making his mouth dirty. When he speaks negative words, curses, etc., he attracts the sidrachra, the impure strengths, by way of his mouth, peh. He makes zivug. By way of the zivug comes what is in his head and in his mind to the body. This is valid for as well the negative as the positive words. Please notice, hell isn't something what exists only when you're dead. It is a perception, a feeling, a condition what comes to live by way of the evil tongue, by way of the adulterous thoughts and fantasies. Only by way of his own doing a person will experience hell on earth. Don't make the mistake to think there is the place of hell here on earth. Here on earth exists a correction by way of his free choice. When he is in the afterlife, he won't have a free choice. Therefore, in the hereafter, there is an unequivocal determined if he comes in paradise or in hell. It is impossible to choose a nice place by way of bribery, etc. There won't be a question if you like this place or that. Here on earth, you have the free choice given to us by the Creator in His great mercy. He created one against the other to give us the opportunity of the free choice. Moshe said, Today you are standing before the Creator. Will it be life or will it be death? Choose for life. Here on earth we have the choice. No, the high government is working faultless always. You can make the right choice when you have the Ateret Yesod as your foundation. And every condition, this is the last Sphira who can attract the high light and pass it on, receiving for the sake of the giving. Now you can understand why Yeshua chose the third letter of the name Yitzchak to draw our attention to this special place, because here is the link. The link is to find in the name Yitzchak. Let me repeat this. What is the first thing we do in our correction? What do you do when you seek for a solution no matter what the problem is? You make your aviyut thinner. Aviyut is the density of a wish. You go from the fourth stage to the third stage, etc., till you are purified completely of all the aviyut, and you can bring the whole condition, problem, etc., to the keter. When you're in the keter, you're in the condition of ibur. Ibur means beget, to reinforce. The high keter, Yeshua, radiates in you keter, the strength, with the light nefesh. Accordingly, you go down step by step to the kli beneath. The kli of chokhmah with the light of ruach. Then to the kli of bina with the light neshama. Then the kli of ze'ah with the light chaya. Chaya is the light of life. Yesod closes the ze'ah. It is possible you think that ascending to the kli keter, the kli of Yeshua, is enough, but it isn't. It's a start. When you ascend, you start with the kli keter and the receiving of Yeshua here in the high keter. That's why Yeshua said, "Come to me, he who is tired." What does this mean, tired? Tired of the uncorrected kelim, tired of the aviyut, and because of this one stays in darkness and feels tired. Look carefully. When I talk about the uncorrected kelim without light, when I speak about the necessity to ascend to the kli keter first, meaning you have to ascend to the most transparent place of your kelim. The level of the partzuf will be the level of malchut. This is because of the upside down connection between kelim and the lights. When you have corrected the kli chokhmah, you have the light of ruach. This level is bigger. It is the level of Zeir Anpin. And when you correct the kli bina, you have the light of neshama. This is the level of bina. When there is the correction of the kli ze'ah till the yesod with the attraction of the light chaya, then there is the shining of the light chokhmah, and together with this, the partzuf comes to the level of chokhmah. And the kli malchut is corrected. You have achieved the level of keter with the light yehidah, or light keter that fills this level. This is a subject that causes a lot of confusion, therefore pay attention, look carefully. Do I talk about kelim or about the levels of partzufim? When the light chaya arrives in the partzuf, and this is the correction of the kli, yesod, together with this, there is what we call the feeling of life. Chaya is the light of life. Only when there is the light of chaya, the klipot disappears out of your perception. Klipot cleaves to the places where hisaron, shortcoming, is. And by way of the correction of the kli yesod, or the ateret yesod, often these names are mixed up. You can come to the maximum of your individual wholeness during the 6,000 years of creation. 6,000 phases of corrections that will be enough for the klipot to leave you at peace. When you have reached this moment, you experience the place of Yesod, the place of living. When you're honest with yourself and feel deeply, you acknowledge this is the place of your Yesod where you already feel the true life. But when you go lower and then you feel darkness, death, this is the individual spiritual work, to correct all the wishes you have till the place of the Ateret Yesod. Then you are finished. This will be you, Gmar Tikkun, your eventual correction. Or in other words, whatever happens with you and around you, always you have the oneness with the Creator, and you are in the fullness of life. There will be no more distraction because of your attachment with the high light. But before you achieve this, know there is an order in this work, what has to be done in every correction. The first thing you have to do is to make the aviyut of your kelim thinner, and this can be done by way of ascending of the yesod to the kli keter, or in other words, your connection with the high keter, Yeshua. Accordingly, there is a gradual descending from the keter till the end of your destination, the place of Yesod itself, or the Kli of Yitzchak. And with this, there is the attraction of the high light, Haya, to the Yesod. But the Aviyut of the Kelim stays in existence. You only have more consciousness to make thinner your wish, but you have to know that the heaviness is there always. There's a saying in the Kabbalah, nothing disappears in the spiritual. When you have descend from the Kli, Keter, to the Kli of Chokhmah, you have enough strength to feel the Aviyut of the Kli, Chokhmah, before, or therefore, you can make it more transparent. Till you arrive at the Kli Yesod and the Ateret Yesod. The Zohar explains us, the Yesod is the tree of life. Within the human being, Yesod belongs to the tree of life. It is the lowest point. Ateret Yesod is the tree of good and evil within the human being. It is the Ateret Yesod who makes all the necessary limitations and descending of the man during this period of 6,000 years. The phases of correction. Now, you can see why Yesod is so important and needs a lot of attention. Notice we can't correct everything. What you have to correct, do it. And what stays behind is named Lev Ha, Lev Ha'evan, the heart of stone. It is impossible to correct this till the Gmar Tikkun. This aspect is so relevant that this has become for all the students the reality of every day. This is the most important and intimate place of the inner work, the pact we have made with the Creator. The Zohar is telling us only from this place one can see the Creator. Why this place? Try to find the answer by yourself. During the correction of the Yesod, there is the attraction of the shining of the light Chokhmah. In the holy language, Chokhmah is Reya, to see, and this refers to the eyes. By way of the place of Ateret, Yesod, the light, or Choser, ascends to the Chokhmah, to the eyes. Then you can see the Creator, or in other words, the light, or Choser covers the Chokhmah of the direct light, or Yeshar. The light, or Choser, reaches to the Chokhmah of the direct light. Therefore, one can see the Creator. In his naivety, the world thinks that the process of liberation is so high. One has all kind of fanciful ideas, developments, etc. I still remember when I spoke a couple of years ago during the Zohar lessons about this subject. Some students started to giggle. Before that time, they hadn't experienced this place while they were learning. And then suddenly, this place was still sleeping, meaning there wasn't a correction at all. Therefore, it was this place that started to giggle because of their material associations with the place of Yesod. Of course, after a while, it was gone, and now they know how it works. Therefore, I have a very sincere request for you. Don't shame yourself for this place. It was Yeshua himself who told us not to be ashamed for this place. The strength of Yeshua is connected with every Yesod. And via Yesod, the man arises to Yeshua. And this happens at the beginning of every correction, every prayer for healing. When a blind person yields to Yeshua, Son of David, help me, what does this mean? Man, the request for help only can rise to the Keter when you go in faith. Lemala mahidat, beyond your knowledge. Every time when a person requested at Yeshua if he would heal him, Yeshua asked him if he had the faith. Yeshua could do this. Know that without faith, emunah in Hebrew, there is no help. Emunah, faith, beyond knowledge, is the tool embedded in the control system to bring yourself in conformity with the qualities of a higher level. You need this tool. Let it be you who are yielding for help at Yeshua, and due to this you bring your Yesod to the Kli Keter. And then a miracle happens. As soon as Yeshua touches your eyes, due to the match of properties, you immediately become able to see. You get the glow of Chokhmah. What does it mean when a deaf person yields to Yeshua? Help. What is the meaning when Yeshua touches your ear, your bina, and you can hear? This is the receiving of the light neshama. There was a city named Capernaum. This is a corruption of the Hebrew kfar, Hanun, what means village of comfort. And in this place, Yeshua couldn't bring any healing because the inhabitants didn't have emunah, faith, only doubts. They asked, who is that man? After all, he is the son of Miriam and the carpenter, Yosef. And we know their children. So how is it possible he could be so full of wisdom? Yeshua said, he who is ashamed for me, I will be ashamed for him, when I am with the Father who is in heaven. The meaning of this is, I don't let pass the man to go to the Father because there isn't conformity in qualities. He is still ashamed for me, therefore he wishes to receive only for himself. He hates the aspect of to give. But now let us return to the essence of Yesod in connection with the letters of the name Yitzchak, the Kli Yesod. As I have said before, Yitzchak is Ari. The first letter of Yitzchak is the Yud of Yeshua. This is the shining of Chokhmah from Yeshua. The other three letters are his contribution, the letters Tzadi, Chet, and Kuf. And this is the word laughter. Ari brought laughter and joy in this world. With Yitzhak Luria Ashkenazi, 4 lights came in creation. And this place is indeed laughable. The whole world laughs about this. There are so many jokes about the Jewish people with this respect. All the so-called Jewish laws speaks about pureness, considering the family, the ritual bathing, etc., so unknown for them who didn't receive the teaching of liberation. Therefore, their reaction is understandable. Yitzhak Luria attracted the shining of the light Chokhmah to the level of the Kli Yesod, to the whole world, and to every person in particular. Me too started to laugh, became happy when I touched the tree of life from Yitzhak. This is the reaction of the experience when there is the observation of the shining of Chokhmah in Yesod, joyfulness, happiness, and laughter. The light comes to the place that was first in darkness. All of this is in the name Yitzchak. Let's take the letters Chet and Yud of the name Yitzchak and place them in this order, Chai. As you already know, Yesod is also named Chai, life. This is one word, but we can do more. For instance, let us take the last letter and place it in front. Then the Yud and Tzadi, Ketz. What has the meaning of end? These two words, Chai and Ketz, of the name Yitzchak, have the meaning of living end. The living end of a partzuf. Always look to the holy letters. Only within the holy letters you will see the answers instead of working with your head in an intellectual manner. Ateret Yesod is the end of every partzuf, and only in this place the light of correction may come during the 6,000 years of creation. This is the living end of the partzuf. The whole universe is built on this foundation, in this stadium of correction. Only on this foundation we can build. The next step will be in the Gmar Tikkun. Then the light of life, will come in Malchut too. What will be the strength of Malchut? That is hidden in the name of the Redeemer, Mashiach. Let us look at the letters of the Mashiach. Let me take the letters Shin and Mem. Shin, Mem, has the meaning of name. Malchut is named name, Shem. There are two letters left, the Yud and Het, what gives us the word of Chai, life. As in the case of Yesod, let us place these two words together, Chai and Shem. When we make a word of it, we see the word with the meaning of living name. Mashiach. Or, in other words, the living Malchut is the content of the name Mashiach, the Redeemer. When, in the Gemar Tikkun, Malchut receives the name Shem, life, will be filled with light. And then we have really the living Malchut. And who will bring this strength? The name of Mashiach. The light Yechidah will fill the Malchut. Let us look again to the name of the Mashiach. What do we see? He took the first letter of the three former phases of the Liberator. From Moshe he took the letter Mem. From Shimon he took the letter Shin. And from Yeshua he took the letter Yud. But considering Yitzhak, there is something strange. He took the third letter, that is the letter Chet. Why? By learning the Torah, we learn several facts, and one of them is, when you notice something is an exception according to the rule, or a rule is illogical for you, meaning your common sense doesn't understand, no, this is the place and the time to give deeper attention because there are hidden secrets of the Torah. Here we have the exception of the rule that Malchut, or the Mashiach, took the third letter, the Het of the name Yitzhak, and not the first letter, Yud. Malchut receives the strength to live from the Yesod always. Yesod gives her the letter Het. Due to this letter, Het, the Malchut will become the living name, once Gemar Tikkun is there.